Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, September 18th, 2019, and Saturn is in process of stationing direct, and that's the subject of the report today. So, astrologically speaking, Saturn is stationary. Right now, it is stopped, and it will begin moving forward again tomorrow, September 19th at 4:46 a.m. Eastern Time. Today, I'd want to focus just on this event and its significance, its role now, today, as time is essentially paused. Saturn rules time. Now, the first thing we want to recognize is the umbrella overview of the theme or the mission of this astrological year. Remember, the astrological year is the date of that is determined by the new moon in Aries, which is always in the spring in northern hemisphere. And on April 5th, 2019, the new moon in Aries was at 16 Aries, which is fairies dancing in the setting sun. And this energetic brings the Omega and the Alpha, endings and beginnings. It's the end of the old world, end of the way things have been done, the era of the New World Order of the deep state. Saturn rules our foundation, our structure, the ground beneath us. And it's very unsettling and causes inner angst when it's active, even when we know it's for the better, when there's a ground shift taking place. Saturn is a tough taskmaster. It expects us to live up to expectations and responsibilities. It wants us to be disciplined and orderly. It wants us to take personal responsibility, grow ourselves up, and adhere to a strict order or routine. This is hard to do when the quote ground beneath us is shifting because a new world, a true new order, is meeting up with us. So, what are we to do? We can easily spin our wheels and then beat ourselves up because we feel kind of stuck or paralyzed. We feel like a failure with certain things or a lot of things. And we tend to beat ourselves up. And this is what Saturn does. But that's not all. Saturn is with or conjunct the South Node. The South Node floods us with the past and all the things that come with the past choices and decisions, past trauma, consequences of our ancestors' choices. And with Saturn, we notice the things or the places where we feel we fell down, where we fell down. And all of this is front and center. And particularly today, because Saturn has stopped and enabling us to take a good look and to understand. Also, it isn't just Saturn in the South Node, it is also the king planet Pluto. It's right there with Saturn in the South Node. Pluto brings up all the things that have been under the surface in order to transform them. The word transform means to go beyond a current form or shape or the status or the situation. It pushes the Omega and the Alpha, and it takes down what's improper, what no longer serves the course of ascension. So in a world so deeply in the throes of a complete metamorphosis, what's a person to do? It's very much like the stages of a butterfly's development, and we are in the chrysalis stage. We're boxed in and we feel restricted. Saturn, being retrograde, has closed us in on ourselves, and as it moves forward again, as it stations direct tomorrow, it produces a release. But does the butterfly fight the process or of its stages of development, or does it innately trust the process? Is the butterfly connected with a knowledge of what is transpiring? I suggest the answer is yes. And in kind, we have knowledge of what is transpiring for us. We are in the chrysalis, feeling boxed in perhaps. But the freedom, the release into a new place, into a new existence, into a new mindset, realm of being is coming. And that form, that place, solid ground is not as important. So we aren't inchworms crawling around on things. We're getting ready to take flight. What's to come isn't as dependent on solid ground. The world we are emerging into is a realm where our minds are just as important as the ground beneath us, maybe more so, because our minds are creating that ground. It's like a top down, from the mind down. So we don't want to be so locked in, Saturn style, holding on to past expectations of what we should be doing or what we should have done. We want to free ourselves and allow ourselves to come into the process, allow the shift consciously, and go inside. It's the people whose identity, value, and existence that's based on the external world and the social conditionings, these are the ones who are losing it. There's no fuel or sustenance in competing with others anymore. Comparisons are meaningless. This is the true meaning of the so-called Age of Aquarius. The Age of Aquarius doesn't mean that planets go into Aquarius and do something necessarily. It's the traits, characteristics, and values of Aquarius, which is individuality, uniqueness, and humanitarianism. So the task is to step out of the box, the paradigm that keeps you dissatisfied from that old world and its expectations. We want to embrace true freedom, leave the old world and the old ways behind. It sounds lofty, but there's a way to start, and the way to start is by stopping the beating up on ourselves. Stop the Saturn while Saturn is stopped. That's all for today. The comment section should be working now. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.